esta gente valiente a la que canto ahora de la Mercedes Santa, de Mora.
As you recall, I've already given you some rebuttal on the 2 articles out of the Green Fire Times, but 2 subsequent articles were written by me regarding this issue that accentuate some of the problems. And if you can go through those articles, you probably will find some errors as well as how they depict us as people here in Mora, and how they portray us, and how they try to manipulate the culture to their benefit, not to the people's benefit. I wrote an article, You Decide, because it does affect you. Even today, was Saran Vrain good for Mora? Written by me, Gilbert Quintana. It was published under the title The Other Side of History, edition number 70, in La Voz de Mora, January 2020, volume 7. And in that article, it becomes quite clear where I'm responding as to how this gentleman, and you've heard the facts already, this so-called gentleman, Saran Vrain, who was born in 1802, just like my great-great-grandfather, the French fur trapper, Thomas Miguel Grenet, but 2 different walks of life, talk about what was occurring then and what is occurring today. At the age of 29, this same Vrain resided here in Mexico, not the United States, but in Mexico. And as we know, all those wheeling and dealings that occurred with him and his cohorts, whether they be Anglo or Mexican or whatever, he was good at infiltrating and manipulating and using people. He was a master of manipulation. We talk about it in the perspective that he used many people, to include, example, Cornelio Vigil, just like the article says today. They have a committee, but they have the Cornelio Vigils in that article. Cornelio Vigil and Saran talked about snagging 4 million acres. Mind you, that's like the size of a nation. That is horrific. It's really sad to see that the original Mora land grant, La Mercedes Santa de Truz, was only 826,000 plus acres given to 76 heirs, but yet they wanted to snag a huge old piece. And we talked about this. We talked about the Battle of Mora. We talked about the Taos Revolt and the St. Vrain emergency brigades. Why wasn't St. Vrain ever in public records notified and mentioned as a captain in the military? Because it's a hidden secret. It's something that they want to hide to justify their attacks upon the people and the killing and the genocide and the enslavement of people. And the sad part about all of this stuff is when they captured these folks, St. Vrain and company, they tried them as treasonists. Now, how in the heck can you be a treasonist if you belong to another country? You're fighting for Mexico. You're fighting for your own country, your own community. How can you be tried as a treasonist? A treasonist would have been if they were citizens of the United States of America. And I think the real treasonous and the real manipulators are people like Saran St. Vrain. We go on in my article to talk about, do you also know some of the settlers of the 1800s have heirs from the French fur trappers? And that's where my great-great-grandfather, Jose Miguel Grenet, and you remember Saran St. Vrain's Spanish name, he changed to become a nationalized citizen, but my great-great-grandfather, Jose Miguel Grenet, changed it to blend in with the people here because he brought in a woman, my great-great-grandmother, from Taos Pueblo, and they resided here and lived in these areas doing good, honest, hard work and working with people in the community. My great-grandmother, if you want to follow it, is Maria de Jesus Montoya from the Taos Pueblo. St. Vrain did not have an understanding of how to interact with people. He brought with him hatred to this community. If you look into his history, one of his brothers was killed by Native people out in Missouri. So all that resentment that he had towards Native people, he just brought it here. And who knows how many of these country wives that he had out here could have been mixed bloods Inizaros, or native people. He had property in Santa Fe, he had property in Taos, and he definitely got property here in Mora, New Mexico. So let us look seriously on what this man had to offer our community and what he still offers today through his cohorts doing this cultural compound. It's very important to understand how manipulative and how soothing people can be bamboozled and can be controlled and so forth. There's a saying that among people that don't stop suffering, just suffer peacefully. And that's how these folks, these people that are doing their today work in our community see us. You guys, you Hispanics, don't stop suffering, just suffer peacefully. We'll walk you through this. Trust me. We've heard that before for the thousands of treaties that have been broken, and even the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo. So I'm going to go on to the other article, the Cultural Revitalization in the Mora Valley by me as well. And that also appeared in an article in a short version in La Voz de Mora, Volume 5, edition number 56, November 2018. We have to really, really make sure that when people come into these communities, they don't want to manipulate the history to their benefit and discard and hide and bury the history of atrocities that affected the people in their lives here. Many of the churches here, the adobe homes, many of the acequias, and let me tell you this about acequias. As an indigenous mestizo Inizara person, it wasn't the Spanish and the Arabic influence that developed acequias. Blue corn came to this country prior to acequias being built by Mexicans and Spanish and so forth. Trust me, blue corn was the mother of all corns. It was here. It was here being used as the way to eat as a grain before grain wheat was brought into here. The acequia system was brought over by the indigenous people from, if you believe it or not, from Mexico. The canales, they called them. The irrigations in Mexico City, they had sewage systems, they had water systems, they had canals to drive in and boat in and so forth. They had acequias that they called canales. And they brought that to the people here, and they were using it in many of these little valleys around here, growing their corn and growing their habas and growing all the indigenous foods that were beneficial to the people here. So let's make sure that when we revitalize this culture, that we deal not only with what we brought in, but what was the onslaught by this government, by military attacks and colonization and genocide and thievery and chicanery of these lands. And cultural heritage it's a miracle. It is really truly a miracle that we are here today on these lands. This place, this communities here in northern New Mexico and in southern Colorado are the exception of the rule throughout the country without being called a reservation. We all know what happened to a lot of our Indian ancestors. You don't see reservations here on the eastern side of the Sangre de Cristos because we were either moved, like we had mentioned earlier, they were feeding 6,000 Navajos at Fort Sumner's and moving them out of here, that they relocated the Hickory Apaches out of here and moved them to Dulce. You don't see no markings except of the key, the oral history and the artifacts. They are artifacts. I can go to places and show places to people that are truly beautiful because they're teepee rings, they're old adobe sites, there are caves in the mountains, there's a tree that feeds us. We can go on and on about the things that really make our life and our culture here. The Mora Arts and Cultural Compound and the mill all bring back that hatred, that frustration with the people here. If we were truly wanting to build some unity in this community, we wouldn't call that place the St. Vrain Mill, a historic society, a historical site. We would want to change it to the true leader of what happened here in this community back in 1846, 1847, and was part of this land grant process of 1835, and that's Manuel Cortez. That place should be called the Manuel Cortez Institute. In the building, if they want, in small letters, the St. Vrain Mill. Because that is truly what happened here and what needs to continue to occur in this community. So, in short there, we also have moved with we've been having a lot of difficulty. As I mentioned earlier, I think I told you that I sit on the Planning and Zoning Commission here in Mora County. And we brought this to the attention of the County Commission. We brought it the other day again to the County Commission, but we initially brought it to them in February 18th in 2020. And we have met a lot of opposition from the County Commission regarding this mill, because it appears that they also support it, because we've seen articles in the Las Vegas Optic dated February 6, 2020 about the St. Vrain Mill. We want to make sure that we are not promoting something that is bad and evil to this community. They call him a so-called prominent resident, but they themselves, are they so-called prominent residents of this county as well? So that makes them better than the rest of the people that have lived here with many of their families for hundreds of years? Or some of the newcomers of our people that came in different waves into this valley. Mora is very hospitable to people. It invites all people in, but not people that want to come and alter and destroy the culture of the people. We are not Halloween jack-o'-lanterns. We are Dia de los Muertos here in this valley. Something that has been destroyed in our culture. The fiestas have been blurred. We have many other beautiful honorees. In 1975, there was a big parade in Mora that honored the Mora land grant, the last big parade that happened in honor of the Mora land grant. So, hey, you know, there's a lot of good things that could be done in this community if the county commission would take the respect and understanding of what members of that planning and zoning commission have to say about supporting things that are contrary to the people here. It's very difficult to continue to struggle for over 220 years and have the same old thing come back and back and again. I think with that said, I want to go into and I'm talking about my paternal side, my great-great-grandmother, Maria Irinea Grenet, who was born in 1849, okay? And I want to talk to you about, this is what a person that comes to this community with a good heart. She is the product of the French fur trapper and the Taos Pueblo woman. She is my great-grandmother, Maria Irinea Grenet, 1849. The beauty of this lady is tremendous. And this is what you call giving to community. It's not taking from community. These people in this foundation, this mill, what did St. Vrain leave you? You even had to buy back that mill to get it, to promote his lies, his thievery and his chicanery, his deceit and his evilness. You had to buy that back. He didn't leave Mora a nickel. Let me emphasize once again the importance of my great-great-grandmother and my great-great-grandfather, the Frenchman and the native woman from Taos Pueblo, my relatives, my great-great-grandparents, who had a wonderful and beautiful daughter by the name of Maria Irinea Grenet. The name continued in our family, still in our bloodlines. But what is so beautiful about great-grandma Irinea Grenet is that she gave to this community. If you come to the village that I live in here in Tromperos, part of Agua Negra, part of what we call now Holman, New Mexico, you'll see what she gave to this community. She gave a complete plot of land for a community cemetery, which to this day is still functional, and gave the original morada to La Hermanidad for they could continue their religious practices here in our community. That is what a gift is all about, giving to your community, not taking from your community as Saran St. Vrain did, because he never gave the people here not a damn nickel. He took the nickels and he took the people for a ride. Ultimately, what is shown here is the big divide of people in this community. We do not no longer need those type of people creating the big divide of our people. We need, if they come in with good intentions, to give to the community, not take from the community. And that's what this whole message of the Tale of Two Frenchmen has always been and is as we close our presentation. That one person takes and one person gives. The Tale of Two Frenchmen. Similar backgrounds, similar ways of life, but different hearts, different souls, different minds. So with that, I want to thank you for your energy, your time, and your consideration about our land, the Mora land grant, the land of the people, Santa Cruz de lo de Mora. So stay well, be in touch. Thank you.